Okay, what is chambers of my heart? What is that?
Hey guys, it's your humble host, Kid if you prefer. I'm back with another video. How are you? Happy New Year's. So just to cut the spiel, you guys already know what it is. Busy life, all that wonderful stuff. I wanted to give my thoughts as a married woman on the response to what has now been called WireGate. And if you guys haven't seen the video, that's going around about Dan reminiscing over a spool of wire, and I'm not watering down. Long story short, he had a very deep moment hit him as something he has had in his possession to do work with for 40 years was finally on its last leg, practically gone. I do recommend you guys watch it. Towards the end of that video, is he's having like a deep emotional moment. The wife, Cindy, does not respond appropriately, and there's been a lot of upset, mostly men, and then thankfully some women have chimed in. I know for me, when I first watched it, I didn't know if it was a skit. It was being portrayed as a skit, which it's not. It's very much a real video. But I sat there quite appalled at it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and get on my soapbox or like, oh, I'm better than her. No, because sometimes I make that mistake too with my own husband, because either I got stuff going on in my head where I'm not tuning in to the deeper part of what he's actually saying or trying to portray. Even if it's not portrayed clearly, or it is, there's sometimes I miss the mark too. It does happen, but the response video that came out, I have gone through most of it. I want to give my thoughts here, kind of like respond to it, because there's some concerning things. Again, I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm an expert. I don't claim to be the best wife. I do my best. There's a lot of stuff I'm juggling on my plate, but I just kind of wanted to give my opinion because yikes. Just yikes. So, yeah. Anyway, this is part 1, and this came out 12 days ago. I do not know if there's going to be part 2. A long time for a part 2.
Hi, welcome. I'm Dan.
And I'm
and this
Cindy.
is Cindy. Dan actually is known as the Wire Man, which is not bad, but very interesting. And we're going to have a conversation with you about our experience this week, about everything we went through. But first, we want to thank everyone, don't we?
Yes, it's been a wild ride, and we've been posting videos for well over a year, and kind of tag teaming with the book that we wrote. And
so already there's been quite a few comments on the body language. His eyes keep darting over to her as for like approval of what he's saying, because you can tell he's taking his time, and like even his body language, like it could be seen as thoughtful or as I better plan my next words accordingly here. As I said, I've already gone through most of it, like watched it. I don't like it, and a lot of people are calling her a narcissist, and I want to say emotionally dense is what I'm going to say, but there's some concerning stuff.
some of the fun things that we do, and never in our wildest dreams did we think we'd get the response that we got from this video.
And for those of you that are following us and paying attention to some other stuff, we thank you, because our job, our purpose is to help couples really stay communicated and stay in the present moment with their partner. And we'll talk about those of you that don't believe that, but first we're going to address the video.
So here's the problem I already have. So I don't try to counsel people. I don't do any of that. But when Cindy said, well, we didn't expect in our wildest dreams the response to the video that we got, I'm going to ask this because either you're not around the internet enough or you're somewhere living underneath a rock. How did you not expect the response? Man, my brain just like went poof. But no, seriously, from the Me Too movement to custody cases to a bunch of stuff that's going around that men are really, really particularly fed up and have been very vocal about it in various spaces, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I don't watch TikTok. I'm sure they're on there being vocal about the plethora of issues that they're having, being demonized, being told that they're evil. The list goes on, and not being able to express their feelings without being seen as weak or like, put it back in the box. So I'm so blown away. Oh, well, we didn't expect this. Either you're not paying attention or you keep your sphere very small of knowledge because, like, I'm subscribed to a few channels that kind of talk about men's issues here and there. I get stuff linked to me from my husband. Their shorts or whatnot where he videos resonates with him and he says like, hey, this is what I'm talking about. So again, I ask you, how did you not expect the response? I don't understand. That concerns the crap out of me, and the fact that you two are trying to help other couples and putting out that video in itself was not a good idea. I would not have put that out.
I had an idea for a couple weeks about doing this video because I had been working with some wire that I bought many, many years ago, and I remember how big it was, and I thought I will never go through this wire. And I just had a couple moments with it, and I asked Cindy, I said, come out and film this. There's something I want to do on this. And I had no idea where it was going to go or even if we'd post it. But
neither did I.
And neither did you. And so...
Okay, this bullshit. Freaking bullshit. And I'm not attacking Dan. Please understand, I'm not attacking Dan. Like I said, his body language tells me he's kind of looking at her for approval as to what he can say. Now, something that we wives do, because I'm guilty of this too, is we try to control what our husbands say because we don't want to be put in a bad light, or we want to make sure that the situation is expressed correctly. I'm guilty of this too. I'm very much a take charge type person, not always in the healthiest ways, because I want things to be just right, or I'm trying to minimize the amount of chaos or pain or hurt or whatever. So I'm calling bullshit on this. I'm guilty of this too, and I'm calling bullshit. There is no way you didn't know how this was going to go, Cindy. And this is like, a lot of people I'm seeing a lot of comments of like, hey, blink twice, Dan, if you're in danger, if you need help. This video reeks to high hell of bullshit. It really, really does. And Cindy's nervous laugh, no.
She just came out to the front porch where I sat with this wire, and I kind of told this story that I was feeling in the last couple weeks, and I might have explained that, and some of you might have heard that, and I just asked her to film, and then at the end she made a comment about the Jets hat. So I want to look at this in two ways. The first way is maybe you
take a breath. Take a.
Okay. Did you see that look where he kind of looked over to her, where he was kind of getting like nervous in his cold feet? He doesn't want to be shut down again for expressing something deep, and that instant snap of the head. Anybody who's married, who has somewhat of a decent communication or has worked through this rough patch of communication, understands exactly what is going on here. He is scared, even with this video, because the story, again, I'm not attacking Dan, is kakamimi. It's bullshit. Nobody who is married or who has been through this before is buying this. A lot of people think it's concocted by Cindy, and I don't know their marriage. Not my business. They do have a whole TikTok channel dedicated to helping couples, but no, something tells me it's Cindy that runs the show when it comes to this. And I'm not attacking it. I'm not attacking the guy. The body language I'm getting, the constant, oh, hey, What do you want me to say? Do you approve of what I'm saying? Look, I know that look because there's sometimes I get it from my husband when I have stuck my fingers in something I shouldn't be, or I'm trying to take charge of something because I'm nervous. I know what that look is. You cannot fool me. I'm guilty of this crap too. And I'm admitting it. I'm being vulnerable. You can, no.
The first way is how much I appreciate the people, men and women, that resonated with what I was doing. I saw one comment was, "Oh, it's all staged," and then I saw another comment that's, "Oh yeah, check out .032 and tell me this would be the best actor in the world." Well, let me be clear: it was not staged. It was a true present moment feeling about this wire, and it was not planned. I just said, put this on film. I want to, I don't know, maybe for my grandkids, whatever.
So the film part I have mixed feelings about. And it could have been where he started to get emotional, shouted at her, went, "Hey, grab the phone," but I don't think it was. I think she got kind of nosy, and it's been expressed that they're used to filming each other for certain things, like thoughts and whatnot. I don't think this is one of them. I think that sometimes they will grab the camera and start filming each other without warning or without telling each other to do so. This is just a guess, but I understand he's trying to protect his wife and cover his wife from the heat of stuff. There's a whole other way that this could be dealt with. But this video is not it. It's really, really not. And I'm not buying it. A lot of people are not buying it.
Cindy came out and filmed.
But not to interrupt you, but we do that quite often. If we have a feeling, a thought, something we say to each other, we're like, grab the camera, this might end up being something good. We do that often. Right. So when you said grab the camera, I was like, I'm on it. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm on it.
We do. We never stage anything. We always catch each other in interesting moments and have authentic responses, because for us.
Okay, did you catch that? Because they told two different things. They contradict each other right there. We have authentic moments, nothing is planned, and then her is like confirming, "Oh yes, no, I got told to grab the camera." So even with something that's like spur of the moment and you're telling someone to film, you're kind of like, even though it's spur of the moment, so like, hey, grab the camera and film, versus somebody walking up on you with a camera that you don't suspect it. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Is you can have a spur of the moment to film and not have it planned, where you don't have a script, have it drawn out, and it's just like, oh, hey, but you're still planning to film it, even though it's spur in the moment, versus being walked up on with a camera in a very vulnerable moment and you don't expect to be filmed. I hope what I'm saying is getting through. But yeah, two different things are being said right there.
Being authentic is the only way to go. So anybody that thought it was staged, you're wrong. It wasn't. So anyway, as I said, I really appreciate everybody that resonated with that, because, oh my God, some of the comments and some of the things that people said about men that had stuff from their fathers that had been around a long time, and every time they go use the tackle box, they see the pliers. Who you are.
Well, it's just like my coffee cup. My dad drank from a coffee cup on a Friday morning. And died on Sunday, and I drink from that coffee mug. Thank you for making my coffee every Friday in that coffee mug. And I think that there are things that people hold on to, as the comments said, that it just kind of brings the memory alive. And I think that's your spool is just stirring a lot of good memories for you, especially with your brother.
But so that was very much forced. And I'm not saying you can't have a sentimental attachment to a coffee cup or a certain mug, or doing something for your parent that you're just doing every single day that you move on to moving to do for your spouse. But she's trying to show that she's very deep emotionally here, and it's not working. It's really weird, because it's almost like she had to think about it. Like for me, if you were to ask me, and I don't have, it's not mine, it's not my possession, But if you were to ask me something that would resonate with me in regards to my dad, he has a very particular guitar. And I think I've talked about this on my channel. And he's had this for years. Sorry, I'm trying to remember whether or not I talked about my channel. I've told a couple people about this guitar. Anyway, he's had this guitar for years. And it's something, because he's a musician, that I resonate with him with this guitar. And there's been things over the years that have possibly happened with the guitar, like he put it in a pawn shop, I got really upset. Just because this is something that is a symbol for me when it comes to him, if that makes sense. And so I can describe that. Or another example. So my husband has, he grew up with the Pokemon games, black and white. And from what I understand, I'm aware of Pokemon and the show, played Pokemon Go, but I didn't really resonate with me as a kid, and I wasn't attached to it because my parents said no. Anyway, but so my husband has the black and white Pokemon game, and his particular copy has a very rare Mew. And from what I understand, this is rare to get in the game. And he had a black DS that crapped out. Well, for a year or so, we couldn't find this black DS, and this was a childhood treasure. He's had this game for a very, very long time. And it's something he grew up with, and it kind of sucked to see because we thought it was gone. We thought it was gone for good until I was going through the closet and I found it in a luggage bag. And I could not believe that I was in there because I don't remember putting it in there. We don't treat our game consoles and electronics like that. So like, why is this in here? Anyway, I show this to him. I call him like, hey, guess what I found? It's your Pokemon game. And unfortunately, his Nintendo DS had crapped out. Like, I couldn't get it to turn on properly, so I popped the game in mine, tested it, and it worked. It still works. We saw the jewel case and everything. And you know what I did? Because I really don't care for the game, but I know that it's valuable to him. I went and got him a brand new black DS because it's your childhood treasure, and he now had it back. So that's just an example. It may not be important to me, but I know it's important to him, and it's just like, well, here's the game. We have the jewel, put it back in the game, and then you now have a DS, the exact same color, refurbished. It looks brand new. And so I may not understand the full sentimental attachment, but I have my own attachment to stuff. So I may not understand fully the spool of wire, but the response Cindy had to it was completely awful. I have a sentimental attachment to my very old car that is hard to find certain parts for now. Last year, I think I've talked about this on my channel as well, I thought I had to scrap this very old car because I couldn't find the pieces for it. And by the grace of God, I was able to piecemeal it because of shops on Amazon. And so that car has a lot of value to me sentimental-wise because it represents a physical home. It represents a relationship family-wise that I once had and I don't have anymore. And that I grew up without, so to speak. It represents a lot of things because I've also done small tinkerments on that car. I've done small fixes. I've learned more about car issues because of that car. So when it comes to Cindy, because she has to think, she goes, oh, well, I have a coffee cup. So it feels very much forced. It really does. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a coffee cup. It could be something, a metal coffee cup that her dad had all the time and gave to her, and it could have scrapings from a spoon. I don't know, but to me it just feels forced, and that she's trying to make herself seem more emotionally intelligent and deep. It's coming across really forced. I don't know what else to say.
You have to do that? So that's really amazing. Part of that too is that we saw numerous times was man's vulnerability, and I'm somewhat of a vulnerable person, but certainly when I feel something as deep as that, I'm extremely vulnerable. So I appreciate everybody out there recognizing that. I appreciate every person that saw my vulnerability because I was totally connected to what I was doing. Now I want to talk about the second part. And the second part is Cindy's response to what I was telling her.
Did you guys see that? More nervous laughter. They're not laughing because it's funny. They're laughing because it's nervous. Because this is now, I can guarantee you, this is a point of tension currently in their relationship. Yeah.
We share everything. She knows everything about me.
So I saw this in a comment section. I don't know where. I'm sorry if you recognize the description, if this video even cracks 100 views, whatever. Somebody said in the comment section that if she actually did know him, she wouldn't have responded the way that she did. I don't know where I saw that comment. I saw something similar to that. Because if she really did know him, and I'm not saying us wives understand everything about our husbands and vice versa. There's just some stuff, obviously, because men, women, different. We're just like, I can't connect with you there, or that doesn't make sense to me, or I'm not sure where you're going with this. But yeah, there's certain things that I know about my husband, and I do, because he's either shared them or I've picked up on them when I'm paying attention. And there's other things I still don't know or I don't understand because either that part of him hasn't been shared with me yet, that's blocked by other things, I'm blinded by my own stuff, what have you. It depends on what it is and what's there or what's not there. Maybe I don't have the understanding for certain things and I can't pick up, and I'm not going to pick up everything because I'm not a guy and he's not a woman. So there's obviously some things that we're never going to fully understand or sometimes not even understand. That's just the way of life. So the claim that she knows everything about you and then to respond that way, no. And I understand he's trying to protect and cover his wife, and I can respect that. But this could be handled in a so much different way.
She made that comment. She wasn't thinking about anyone else seeing it, and she wasn't even planning it. She was actually speechless, right?
I was.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So she responded. Okay. Oh my God. Oh no. No. Okay. Nope. Just got that. Okay. So he literally just said that she filmed it because she didn't think anybody else would see it. So earlier in the video, it was claimed, hey, we're authentic or whatnot. So when you guys are expecting people to see it, or you know you're going to post it up, that tells me that the responses are somewhat, I don't want to say scripted, but they're formatted in a way to where you know other people are going to watch them. And that's true of video making. But this comment right there and claiming to be authentic and then also claiming that the video was not planned, there's so many little things that are not adding up here. See, and this worries me. This really does. And this is why a lot of people, particularly men, are going like, there's so many red flags being thrown, it's not even funny. Now, do I agree with people telling Dan to divorce Sydney? No, because I don't know what their marriage is like, but just this is damage control. This is what we call on YouTube damage control. Cindy could have really looked at the video and put out a heartfelt like, hey, you know what? I kind of goofed up here. I didn't think anybody was going to see it. It's just something, what? I wonder how she really is behind the camera. Like I said, you've already seen the nervous laughter, the continuously looking at each other, going like, hey. So, no, come on, man. This is messed up.
As I was listening to you talk, but so often we listen and we're thinking about what we're going to say to someone and we're not really hearing them. And I had no idea what he was doing. Like, we've done a lot of things over, the last year or two. And I'm like, God, he's really good at this. And so I'm standing there thinking, is he acting or is he, doing something?
Okay, wait, okay, she's telling on herself. She's telling on them. Are you guys catching what she's saying? She wasn't sure if he was acting or if it was a real moment because he's really good at it. Like, are you guys catching this? Like, I haven't seen a lot of coverage of this, and I didn't know that this was still a thing going on because I saw the Spool like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. And I talked to my husband about it. My husband's familiar with it as well. We were talking about it this evening. But are you guys catching any of this? So the videos aren't authentic. You can have, so here's the difference between authentic, scripted, and then well thought out. So authentic is where it's like in the moment, it's like, oh, hey, video now or whatnot without even saying anything. It's like, and I'm sorry to use this as an example, it's when a fight breaks out and people whip up their phones. That's authentic. Scripted and planned is where you want to portray a certain situation. It's like, okay, come around the corner or whatnot and act this way, and I'm going to respond this way. And then you have a thought out video to where you have a concept or a problem you want to talk about or just a solution, and you want to make sure you word it properly to make sure that you understand what you are saying and that your viewers are going to understand what you are saying. That is the difference between the 3. So this should not have been put out. This only makes it worse. A lot of people said it makes it worse, and
Thing. I didn't, and so of course my mind was on how do I respond? How do I pull him out of this? We had just had a conversation about how the Jets suck, and we're such just huge fans. We travel to New York every year to see them, and we had this conversation, and we were so sad that they had such a bad year, and then I see him sitting there with that hat on, and I was like, "You're wearing your Jets hat after we talked about them having this."
No, see, I can tell you're full of shit, woman. You really are, because it had nothing to do with the Jets hat. It has nothing to do with that, and you damn well know it doesn't. Him sitting there staring at this spool, like, I don't have to fully understand the spool, but if my husband is sitting there with, I don't know, his DS, or maybe it's a little charm or a piece of jewelry, or he's looking at something, I know he's deep in thought. Like, come on, it's more than obvious where he's thinking about something, whether it's the thing in his hands that he's thinking about, or he doesn't know how to put something into words or something, but he's thinking about it. He's like, hey, I'm having a moment, and this is like, I'm focusing it on this. So, no, you were so full of shit. His body language was saying he was having a moment.
Such a bad year. So it was maybe a poor response on my part.
Maybe it was. You weren't paying attention, and so there are women who are like this, who do not like it when their men get emotional. Now, there is a balance, as I have talked about on my channel, and I'm sure I have, where I've seen my dad break down, not because I'm making fun of him, but because he was in really deep pain, whether that's emotional, spiritual, physical. Like, one of the worst things that I've seen my dad, and I never want to see this again, and I've talked about this, where he was bent over my sister's open coffin crying. I never want to see my dad like that. Not because, he's crying, but because he's in so much pain that he is now just completely broken down. I don't ever want to see him that way. And me and my dad were talking about this years ago, where he asked, like, well, how come it's okay for women to struggle but not men? And I gave him an answer that from my perception of things, because women get scared when we see men vulnerable, because men are our protection, they're our shield. And so we get scared when we start to see our shield and our protection shake. Now, granted, women do protect men too, and I'm not talking about the physical. Women protect men in a different way, and how we're supposed to protect men. And again, I'm not going to claim to be good at it. I tell people I'm shit at a lot of stuff, but how women are supposed to protect men, we protect their vulnerability. Like conversations I've had with Gwen, and I won't go into details, but she protects Jeff's vulnerability. We've had those conversations. That is a woman's job. So when she does shit like what Cindy does, the man's not being protected. His vulnerability is not being protected. That is a woman's job, because at that point you're also protecting a part, you're protecting a part of his little boy. Because when you do get married, if your little girl connects with your little boy, you guys still have, hopefully, childlike wonder. And a lot of adults lose that. I admit I have lost that because of work, life, and other bullshit. I'll give you an example. There was a video I saw, and a woman surprised her husband, I think was either with a chocolate lab or a light chocolate pit bull. And the guy just starts breaking down because he had a dog similar, from what was described in the video, he had a dog similar to the one that his wife just gave him. And it's like she touched a part of his childhood because it showed that she understood him. It's like, hey, like, here's this dog, here's a buddy for you. And he just, like I said, broke down. So a lot of men do not feel protected, and women can't physically protect men in general. I mean, there's exceptions, there's stuff that's like spur of the moment. There was a story I read, I think it was like during like World War II, and I can't remember what kind, it was when Germany was invading a country, I think it was either Poland or whatnot, and you had a man and woman, husband and wife at home, and the Nazis had like rolled up, and the husband goes out with the gun and tries to defend the home, and he gets shot. And so the woman goes out and tries to defend the home and picks up her husband's gun and starts shooting at the Nazis. I can't quite remember the details of the thing, but that's the difference. But as I said, to summarize that entire spiel, it is women's job to protect a man's vulnerability. It really is. And a lot of women don't know how. I'm still learning. Trust me, I'm shit at it. But yeah. So, and she doesn't know how to do that. And it scares a lot of women to do so, because they want to be the ones to always be vulnerable, or they always want to be protected and things like that. And that's fine. But at the same time, the man can't be strong all the time. They have to be able to break down and be vulnerable too. And there's a lot of women that don't want that actually are disgusted by that. And there is a balance, because there is such a thing as to emotional men and then to emotional women. And it's a little bit different. But that's a whole other can of worms that I'm not even going to. Anyway, you guys get what I'm saying, hopefully.
But I think if you understand who we are and how we talk to each other, and, the interactions that we have, I mean, all of our friends are like, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Like, the video was no big deal. But the people that don't know us, don't understand us really,
Okay, but no, his response to you was like, okay, I'm done. No. His instant snap, like, back into freaking stoic hard-ass mode, because he literally just it's like, and I see this metaphor a lot, because I even kind of use this metaphor where the stone case is open. The stone case comes undone, and it reveals, like, the squishy part of you, the vulnerable part of you, and what you pretty much did was stick a stake in it, or a stick, and start poking at it. And that's where he's like, oh, nope, I'm done. Goodbye. And he walked away. Like, that video was a big deal. And I really hope you guys get through this, because what you're in, again, it's just not me attacking Dan. I don't know how long this has been going on. And some men, actually a lot of men, get used to it. And it's really messed up. The friends are these other women who said that it wasn't not a big deal. Like, I need more context, more cowbell. Are your friends are in kind of toxic relationships, or do they have the same issue too and they don't want to deal with it? Again, I'm not trying to be attacking here, but that is a big deal. That is a big red flag. That's like if my husband is sharing something personal with me from my childhood and I randomly bring up something of his small that broke or go, oh, hey, are you just having a fit or whatever? He ain't going to share any shit with me ever again. And we've had those struggles to where there's something that resonates with him that I'm not fully understanding. And because there's certain social quirks I have, I've accidentally steamrolled him. And I admit it, I'm guilty of it too, and I'm trying to get better. It is a very tough thing, and it is. But this is a big deal. This is such a big deal.
Or offended. And I want to address the idea that there's a difference between intention and perception. And I am sorry that your perception of me was what it was. Because
okay, so yes, intention and perception are completely different. But what you intended, I don't know what the hell your intention was. I know you said that you're trying to pull him out of something. You don't pull someone out of something, out of a deep moment when they're like, this is resonating with me, I'm feeling this way, or I just realized this and it's hitting me like a train. You don't just pluck someone out of it. So I don't know what the hell your actual intention was. I from what I'm getting, it's just to try to make a funny video or to make him look silly, something. That's what I'm perceiving to be the real intention here. But no, it is not our perception of you that is wrong, because what you're trying to do with the audience right now is saying, oh, well, I'm sorry, your perception of me is this way. No, you put that out there. Now, something when it comes to intentions and perceptions, you can intend for something, but not have any way how to do it properly or even a healthy way. So, like, for example, I can intend to help somebody with a broken leg or a broken arm, but if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I'm gonna make that 10 times worse, if that makes sense. So,
my intention is never to be that person, ever. Does that make sense?
You bet. But if you're seeing that from a third person's perspective, like on social media, you don't know the backstory of anybody. Right. And for everybody to assume that she's callous and she's not a nice person and I should leave her, and you're way, way off base. You have no idea what our relationship is like, because this relationship for me is the mother load. I've never experienced a connection with someone like I do. I've never been felt hurt once. And
okay, but this is what, okay, I'm calling bullshit, and I understand, Dan, you were trying to cover for your wife, but to say that you've never been hurt once, I'm calling you out, because there are times where my husband, like, it's in marriage, it's a normal part of life where you accidentally hurt somebody. I have, as I said, accidentally steamrolled my husband in certain things where I'm like, let's do it this way. Or there are times where he has accidentally hurt me, or he has hurt me and didn't intend to. There is never a perfect relationship. There's a relationship where you guys can fight, talk it out, and work and not have and grow from that. But to say that she's never hurt you, that's not even realistic for any type of relationship. That is a full-on, I'm putting the blinders on, everything is A-okay, except for there's a fire behind me. No, just no. And then having a connection. So you can pick out the connection between people. Like, there's a body language. First impressions are a thing. Now, are they always accurate? No, not 100%. But if Cindy really had a deep connection with you, she would know how to respond to you in a better way than what she did. Now, I will say, from the small devil's advocate I can give here, is that she got nervous because she didn't know how to deal with it, so she tried to do a joke to bring levity or something. I've had people do that to me where I'm express something really deep and I'm really, really trying to like, hey, I resonate with you. I hear you. Here's what's going on. And then I'll have somebody who doesn't appreciate how heavy the conversation is getting and will just bring up something random. And I just want to turn around and crack them in the face because it's like, can you just shut the hell up? So maybe the conversation was getting a bit too heavy for Cindy and she didn't know how to deal with it. That's okay to admit. That really is okay. It shows that you know how to learn and that you're willing to grow and change from that. This, though, tells me that this is doubling down and that Cindy does not see that she did anything wrong. I'm sorry, there is no defending this. And I'm not for you leaving her. I think people saying that are going a stroke too far. But there have been many comments of people going like, yeah, my ex was kind of like this, or my ex was like this, and I just went, no, I'm done. Or you have people who are currently going, yeah, I'm kind of dealing with this right now. This is kind of shit. Or, yeah, I'm just going to stay single. And it's mostly men, and I'm not attacking them, but yeah, this is a real freaking problem. But I'm if you guys are legit trying to help couples with communication, y'all need to start with yourselves. I'm just saying this is not good. No. And it sounds like you got bad friends too.
Many people thought, oh my God, she hurt him by not listening to him. So let's just say that you're mistaken. That was it.
Bro, your language. Okay, again. No, your language tells me that you are nervous of Cindy get mad if you say the wrong thing or if you say the real thing. Again, as wives, we do try to control what our husbands say because we want the chaos to be minimum and we don't want there to be any more conflict. Again, I'm being vulnerable. I'm admitting this. I recognize the behavior because I do this. It's a struggle of mine. So I'm calling bullshit on this. This is no, let's just say that you say that when you don't want to actually address the situation or when you're nervous of the situation and just go, let's drop it. No.
An inside joke between us, and she didn't know where this was going to go, and I didn't know this was going to go. But because it touched so many people, we're actually grateful. Regardless of people wanting to jump on Cindy for her reaction, we are grateful because we think that people will think more about man's vulnerability. We will think more about truly listening to each other. And we will also think more about judging someone when we don't know the whole story.
Okay, so all of that, yes, it is causing people to think, but it's not what you want. You have men who are saying, oh, well, I'm kind of done with this. You have others who are saying, wow, this is how women act. This is garbage. People are not thinking, oh, well, we shouldn't judge each other. We should hear each other more. No, it's having a very bad reaction, and it's mostly coming from them. They're like, yeah, we're bye-bye. And in my opinion, it's a normal reaction because a lot of men have had enough. And the fact that part 2 has not been done, I don't want to say right away, but a few days afterwards, and there's like a 12-day span. Either they're watching reactions and trying to figure out how to formulate the next response, or some shit broke out after the video. And this is not me wishing bad on them. I'm just none of what was said in that video in regards to, oh, well, the video was planned. There is so much that was revealed because, like, the Cindy not knowing if he was acting or if he was having a real moment, that was very telling. Or her saying that she didn't know where he was going with this, and then him calling the video authentic while at the same time telling her to grab the camera. When you have somebody grab the camera, whether you have a script or not, you're going to act a certain way because you're in front of the camera. Someone is videotaping you. So there was a lot of contradicting messages, and then the body language where he just kept like shifting eyes at her, like, okay, is this okay to say? And it just, it's one thing to have a well thought out video, which this was not, by the way. Not. And then, as I said, her trying to force, it sounds very much force a story about, oh, well, my dad had a coffee cup and now I drink from this coffee cup. And then, like, the slight body language of her just quickly touching him, like, well, thank you for making my coffee every Friday morning. It was just weird. It was forced. It really, really was. And again, I'm going to be straight up front and vulnerable, and I'm guilty of steamrolling my husband. Like I said, I'm a very take charge person. There's a lot of stuff I juggle, and there are times I forget how to human. That's the best way I can put that, because of either my job or stuff where I'm just like focused in on, and I'm just kind of tuning a lot of stuff out. Not saying that's okay. I'm just saying, telling you sometimes how I function. Not particularly always healthy, but and there's stuff where I screw up. I'm like, oh crap, I'm sorry. And I'm working on it, but I recognize the behavior. The difference is I can go, yeah, I'm pretty shit at that, versus, oh, well, it was just a joke and that video was no big. No, garbage, absolute freaking garbage. You guys are not gonna be able to help any couple, and I haven't gone through the rest of the material. Again, I'm not a counselor. I don't have the studying, whether or not there's more to pick up on. This is just for me talking as a wife of 10 years or so. With that being said, though, this video is almost an hour. I hope an actual real video comes out, or a well thought out one, because that was not it. That should have never come out. And I don't know if it's a good idea to have a video of both of them in there. Like, I personally would want to see a video from Cindy. A real authentic video that says, hey, you know what, I kind of screwed up here. I'm not very good. This stuff does make me nervous because I don't know how to respond to it. Wasn't taught how to handle it growing up. Just something. That's a start. I don't know how to do that. Just say something real and you can go from there. But I don't know if that's going to happen. There is so much to pick up from this video, and a lot of people are pissed. And I don't know what the answer is. Besides possibly Cindy putting out an actual video explaining. I don't freaking know. You guys saw me, I literally had a brain fart in the video. I'm like, I don't know how to respond to this at this moment. Like, let me reset. So, yeah. Yikes. Anyway, I don't encourage attacking. I'm not encouraging them divorcing. I'm just hoping people can learn from this, and learn what not to do, and hopefully look into how to better handle men's vulnerability, because as I said, We women see men as our protectors and shield, and when that starts to crack and break, it freaks us out. It really freaking does. And that causes us to take on more, or we feel like we need to take on more, and that can be really ugly or nasty depending. But yeah, best of luck to you both. I'll see you guys in the next one.